¿Es correcto, sí o no? Muy bien.
Qu'est-ce que c'est ça? Qu'est-ce que c'est, Lisa? C'est un triangle.
¿Cómo se llama esta pintura?
Oh,
¿Sí se divertido?
Sì, mi sono divertito.
bravo, signor. Che bella vita, signor Gases.
Hello, and welcome to our December issue of Spotlight in Education. I'm Dr. Ann Magistro, Superintendent of the East Brunswick Public Schools. And joining me today is Mrs. Mary Mackenzie, who is our Supervisor of World Languages, English as a Second Language, and Bilingual Education. Today, Mary is going to share with us our World Language program and tell us a little bit of an overview, what's taught and when it's taught.
Okay, first we begin with either Spanish or French. Children get a preference of Spanish or French in grade 3. Those languages continue through grade 12. In grade 6, students can choose to either continue in French or Spanish from the elementary school, or they can choose German or Italian. In grade 8, students also have the choice of choosing Latin. We offer regular and honors courses at the upper levels. In Spanish, we offer AP Language, AP Literature, and in French, we offer AP Language. Those are our highest levels. We do also offer regular 5s and 6s in those areas for students who want more language but don't choose to follow an AP track.
Our World Language program received state recognition as a model program in the state. Can you share with our community what gave us this distinction?
The New Jersey Supervisors of World Language Roundtable had an initiative of model programs. And the goal of that was to provide exemplary models of standards-based instruction as we looked at implementing the New Jersey Core Curriculum Standards, which for many districts was a significant change from very traditional programs that were in existence 20 or so years ago to standards-based programs, which is how we teach here. In order to become a model program, we had to submit a lengthy application explaining our curriculum, our instruction, our philosophy, our assessment techniques, the kinds of things we did in the classroom, etc. We passed the written application stage, and after that there were 6 world language supervisors, and Janice Jensen, who is the coordinator of world languages for the state of New Jersey, did an entire day site visit with us and went into every world language classroom in the district. They were very impressed. They saw both students and teachers using the world language for real communication. They were impressed with our articulation, meaning that the level 3s and 2s across the district were really doing the same things, and our articulation from level to level and school to school, they could see consistent growth in what was happening. It was well planned, curriculum was well developed. They were very impressed. I think one of the things that also impressed them the most was our students' use of the world language in small groups and pairs, individually with the teacher. And that is something that doesn't happen in every school and something that many places, and it took us 10 years of working towards that goal to arrive there. And that is happening now. Every month we receive visitors from other districts who are looking at what does a good standards-based program look like and what can we learn from East Brunswick. So we have model program visits from other districts and private schools from throughout the state each month, since we are designated as a model world language program.
And in addition to this honor, which we certainly are extremely proud of, and certainly are very proud of our staff who have brought us this honor, we recently received some very exciting news, something that's going to really further enrich our program. Can you tell our community about the grant the district recently received?
We received a FLAP grant, and I did also want to mention concerning our World Language Model program, we were the only district in the state that received the designation of model at all levels. So we have that distinction. And in spite of that distinction, as I look at our program, there are places we need to grow and continue to learn and to do more things. So together with 3 other supervisors who have excellent programs, we sat down and we wrote what's called a FLAP, or Foreign Language Assistance Program Grant, in order to move our programs even further. What that grant involves, it's about $250,000. It will bring us in significant staff development for all staff members on a national level of our quality folks delivering the staff development. In addition, there will be a core team of teachers from each district who will be developing benchmark assessments at the core curriculum content standards benchmarks for the world languages standards. These will be performance-based, and we will be working with experts to do that. Our goal in creating these assessments is to look at, are our programs really meeting the standards? Where do we need to fine-tune? What do we need to do? And all of us in the consortium, there are 4 districts. It is East Brunswick, West Windsor-Plainsboro, Edison, and West Orange. We want to move our programs forward, and we feel that this will be a significant help in doing so. So we're very excited about the grant.
Several years ago, you were on this program, and you spoke to us about wonderful new elementary world language program. And of course, that was in 1999, and we've come a long way since then. Can you talk to us about how the program has evolved?
It's been a really exciting time since 1999. The students who began the elementary program in 1999 and continued in the same language are now taking a tradition, well, what we would consider a high school level 2 in grade 7. So they have moved up, completing the first half of level 1 in grades 2, 3, 4, and 5, second half of level 1 in grade 6, and now they're doing a level 2 in grade 7. So it's been a really exciting time, and later in the program you will get to see some tape of some of those children and what they can do. We're very pleased with what is happening. We have also done, as the years have gone by, we have consistently refined our curriculum, looking at making sure we're articulating well with Hammarskjöld. We have Hammarskjöld teachers involved to make sure the kids are ready to move on. We also have been working with regular classroom teachers because language is not something that's taught in isolation. We've integrated more and more content into our instruction. There are several websites that are available, and they will be attached to each elementary school that provide some of the practice in the content, as well as content that goes on in every lesson during instruction. But of the websites that we have that do explore content, there is the Languages in Action website, just basically a 3rd grade website which does some of the basic introductory. Kids can learn to describe things, etc. And there is audio on there. And one of the interesting things, even there we see content, what the kids are describing and talking about when they're talking about colors and shapes, etc., are masterpieces of art. So we have the culture mixed in with language. And there's a lot of different language practice for them there. For the 4th grade integration, we have the food pyramid and some discussion about that. And it's all in Spanish and all in French, so that the kids can work with the food pyramid online. In grade 5, our website is The Spirit of the Explorers. And it's a very exciting website that addresses both French and Spanish explorers and ties into the regular curriculum. Also in grade 5, we have the Stand Up for Peace, Peaceful Conflict Resolution, where kids learn about typical conflicts that happen with 5th graders and how to resolve them. This site is available in English, French, and Spanish. And last year we worked with this site together with a school in Mexico and a school in Canada, where kids learned about conflicts, learned about the vocabulary of resolving conflicts, and then worked together across nations to resolve conflicts. So we did that in 5th grade last year, and we did the video conferencing and emailing at Lawrence Brook, and we are looking to expand depending on our technology and how well that will work for us. So that's some of our content integration, and you will also see some of that in the clips from the elementary program.
Well, learning another language is certainly different than when I was in school. And Mary, I continue to be amazed whenever I go in the classroom and I see how well our students are able to communicate in a different language. Tell us how this is achieved.
Well, when we went to school, or I went to school, there was a lot of grammar translation, and our focus was those workbooks with how many verbs you could conjugate, or the ALM, which was focused on accuracy and memorization. Now we focus on proficiency. That's how much and how well a student can communicate. We look at language through the eye of acquisition. We look at how do we learn a first language, and how can we apply that knowledge to learning a second language. We no longer look at the discrete skills of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. We look at modes of communication. For example, the first mode of communication we look at is the interpretive mode. That's simply interpreting information, and that could be either listening or reading. It's taking information in. The second mode is the interpersonal mode, and that mode involves negotiation of meaning. So it's speaking in general, however, there must be some negotiation of meaning, something that you're not aware is going to happen, that you have to clarify, etc. And that's, in general speaking, however, instant messaging and emailing could also be considered interpersonal. And the final mode of communication, I think that most of us in world languages may be familiar with, is presentational. It's simply a memorized or prepared presentation that's done either in speaking or in writing. And as you see the clips of the tape, what you'll see is there's a lot of interpersonal communication or negotiation of meaning going on, and that has been a long process in getting our students to be able to do that. It is something that all of us as world language educators have been struggling with, and I think we've gotten some real good strides in doing that in our district. Curriculum is organized around communication. Grammar is simply a supporting role. Where it's needed for communication, grammar is taught. We don't look at culture in terms of culture capsules or building Eiffel Towers with toothpicks. We view culture as integrated with language and communication. We look at other cultures, their perspectives, practices, and products, and their similarities and differences to our own. We look at connections to content. Wherever possible, we integrate content into instruction. And in terms of culture as well as communication, one of our goals is to consistently implement authentic materials, meaning materials written for and by native speakers of the language. That way kids are learning what really happens in the other country and are able to access information that way.
Well, that's terrific. You certainly gave our community a great deal of knowledge regarding our world language program. And just a few weeks ago, you took our State Board of Education members for an actual tour of our classrooms so they could observe how our children are taught. Let's take our community now for a tour through our grade levels from elementary on to Hammarskjöld so they can share that experience as well.
In the elementary program, students begin to communicate at a basic level. Just like children first learn shapes, colors, letters in their own language, our students learn those things in French and Spanish. They also learn to talk about themselves, their world, and their community. Just as in a first language, children learn to talk about I, what I like, what I do, so they do in a second language.
Ok, forma número 3. Escuchen. Ahora hacen una forma que tiene 4 lados. 2 lados largos, 2 lados cortos. Y muestra la clase la forma. Muestra a sus amigos. ¿Cómo se llama la forma? El rectángulo. No se repite. El rectángulo. Miran los rectángulos. Miran. Tenemos rectángulos grandes y pequeños, ¿verdad? Excelente. Ok, aplauso, aplauso.
La forma es 4 lados, iguales. No iguales.
4 lados iguales de color azul. A ver, muestra ella, muestra su tiempo. ¿Es correcto, sí o no? Muy bien, dale un regalito a su amiga. Dale un regalito. ¡Oh, bravo, bravo! Ok, ahora es uno, pregunte.
Bleu, blanc, rouge, violet, jaune, orange, vert et rose. Encore une fois. Bleu, blanc, rouge, violet, jaune, orange, vert et rose. Ok? Nous allons parler des bâtiments, des couleurs et des formes. Voici les formes. Qu'est-ce que c'est? C'est un carré ou c'est un triangle? Qu'est-ce que c'est? Oui. C'est un carré. De quelle couleur est le carré? Bleu. Le carré est bleu. Très bien. Toi, ferme les yeux. Ferme les yeux. Voilà, prenez beaucoup, hein. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Le triangle.
Et de quelle couleur le triangle?
Jaune, le triangle.
Voilà, le triangle est jaune. Très bien, merci. Ok, Kaz, regarde la télé, s'il vous plaît. Voici la tour Eiffel. Dites-moi, quelle couleur voyez-vous dans cette image? Moi, je vois. Kaz, répétez, je vois. Je vois la couleur noire, hein?
As they progress into Hammarskjöld, they begin to talk about a wider view of the world. What we're finding very exciting as the children progress into Hammarskjöld, and as you'll see on the video, our kids are very uninhibited in using the second language. Before our elementary program, our Hammarskjöld teachers said it usually took them 6 weeks to 2 months to kind of break down the kids' inhibitions, and they would have some children that were close to becoming upset at the fact we use little or no English in the classroom. And now they're used to it, so whether they're taking the same language or they've switched to a different language, language is no longer foreign to them, it's a world language, and they know there are other ways of talking than simply in English.
Est-ce que tu veux
Est-ce que tu veux chanter avec moi?
Est-ce que tu veux chanter avec moi?
Non, je ne veux pas chanter. Est-ce que tu aimes Britney Spears?
Pregunta número 1, Alejandra para Carolina.
¿Qué le gusta hacer a Luna?
Le gusta hablar por teléfono y escribir.
Muy bien. Pregunta número 2. Vamos a ver a Beto para Alma.
¿Dónde vive? El mono vive en zoológico.
Vive en el zoológico. ¿Dónde más?
At Churchill and the high school, students expand their ability to use language. They can communicate about an ever-widening variety of topics and communicate in greater depth about those that they already know.
¿Cómo se llama esta pintura?
Oh,
¿Puedo usar la línea de vida? Sí.
continua Steven.
Intervisti I suoi compagni di classe per sapere chi ha fatto queste cose lo scorso fine settimana.
Allora usiamo il passato, parliamo dello scorso fine settimana. Che giorni sono il fine settimana? Che giorno sono il fine settimana? Lunedì, martedì? No. Signorina Toto? Venerdì sera, non mattina. E? Sabato e? Domenica. Il fine settimana, no? Notate il compito di oggi è studiate e buon fine settimana a tutti, va bene?
Hai fatto colazione?
Sì, ho fatto colazione.
Ti sei divertito?
Sì, mi sono divertito.
Bravo signor, che bella vita signor Gasses.
Y un otro, la música irlandesa llega a Marnes. Cocina segunda para el Día de Acción de Gracias. Es muy interesante. Oh, siéntese. Gracias. ¿Qué es tu problema? Tengo un dolor en mi mala. Sí. Diga Yo necesito sacar tu muela sin anestesia. ¿Por qué? Porque tú tienes un absceso. Vale. Diga Aquí nos paga bien de muertos.
Je pense que maintenant, en général, des gens ont plus d'argent, donc c'est facile d'acheter la nourriture bonne pour la santé.
Meilleur pour la santé.
Je ne suis pas d'accord avec Bob. Il y a plus de choix, mais il y a aussi le fast-food et on n'a pas beaucoup de temps pour manger qu'avant et alors ne cuisinez pas.
Je voudrais une pomme, le raisin, le pain, les œufs, le céréales, le lait, le bacon et les gaufres avec le sirop.
D'accord.
C'est super.
Cosa farai per la festa di ringraziamento?
Per la festa di ringraziamento rimarremo a casa.
Chi preparerà il pranzo?
La mia mamma preparerà il pranzo.
Con patate, tante verdure e tanti dolci.
Dopo il pranzo.
Cosa mangerete per la festa del ringraziamento?
Mangeremo il solito
de los moros y también tengo las palabras claves: acontecer, asombrarse, bravo, consejo, despedazar, ensangrentado y tomar. Y todos ustedes saben el tema del cuento. Si al comienzo no muestras quién eres, nunca podrás cuando quisieres. ¿Y alguien sabe la conexión con nuestra vida?
Mary, our world language program is something to be really proud of, and I thank you and your staff for doing such an outstanding job at it. It seems like you never settle at any one level. You keep trying to make it better and better. So I thank you for all the work that you do in the program, and I thank you for watching Spotlight in Education.